In this video, I'm going to tell you how much the average real estate agent makes as their yearly salary. And stick around to the end because I'm also going to go over expenses and tell you what that final taxable number might be. But first, really quick, if you could, please subscribe to the channel. We would love you to join our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a local Surrey, Fraser Valley, or Canadian real estate market update for that matter. And make sure to hit the like button. You hitting that like button is the best way for me to get this information out to more people who are interested to find out how much a real estate agent actually makes. The first thing you have to know about real estate agents is that they are 100% commission based. This means if they sell 0 properties, they make $0. Well, that's not necessarily true because in most not all provinces, but in most provinces, you can now have a part-time job doing something else. So if you don't sell any houses this year and you are a real estate agent, but you have another job, you could make some money there. In my marketplace of Surrey, BC, you'll likely see a commission structure that is known as a tiered commission structure. Even though it is not just one set and way, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but the most common commission that you will see on a listing agreement will be 7% on the first $100,000 and 2.5% on the balance. So you're most commonly going to see a percentage base. However, you could also, as a real estate agent, charge just a flat fee. That being said, there is one way you cannot charge commissions, and that is what we call over and above. And I'll give you an example of why. Let's say you come to me and say, Steve, I want to sell my property for $500,000, and you can have anything over and above $500,000. Well, if it turns out your property is actually worth $1 million and you didn't know it, then Steve profits a heck of a lot more than you. You might be happy. However, it's not really a fair way to compensate someone because of the mistrust that could be perceived if the property sells for more than the seller may have expected. And realistically, you could offer, like I said, a percentage, or you could offer that flat fee. And that flat fee could be as little as $1. We are in a country where commissions are completely negotiable. However, if you did only offer $1 as your commission, you have to wonder what type of agent will actually work for only $1. So that being said, in my marketplace of Surrey, BC, you will see most commonly 7% on the first $100,000 and 2.5% payable on the purchase price thereafter. Well, Steve, I don't understand, and that is absolutely crazy. Yeah, I agree. That is absolutely crazy. So let me explain a little further. Here in BC, we actually used to have the highest real estate commissions in all of North America at 7%, when most of the rest of the country was charging only 6%. But when properties crossed over the absolutely absurd $100,000 mark, the people here in BC said, hey, you know what? We don't need to make that much money. So why don't we only charge 2.5% on the balance of the money thereafter? And that tradition has now carried forward, even though the average property in Surrey might be $1.2 million now. And it was most common if you were the listing agent, you would take a little bit more of that money because now this commission is the whole commission. However, it's going to get cut up into the listing agent side and the selling or buying agent side. Now, back when it was only 7% flat fee, they would likely get 46% of the overall commission would be given from the listing brokerage to the buyer's brokerage. Well, that number of 46% then carried over into the 7.5 model, meaning that if you are the buyer's agent for a property, you're likely going to see a commission of 3.22% on the first $100,000 and 1.15% on the balance of the purchase price. Now that leaves 3.78 and 1.35 for the listing agent, and there's a good reason for that. The listing agent has a lot more expenses than the buyer's agent. The buyer's agent is going to grind up time. The listing agent is going to grind up expenses in marketing. So as a result, they're going to want some of that compensation back. And they did work really, really hard to get the listing. As the saying goes in this business, you have to list to exist. An agent that only works with buyers is not long for the business. And so taking on the extra expense of taking on those listings is worth it in the long run. And even though we've gone away from things like flyers and mailers and things like that to promote our listings, the online cost may be a greater reach, but you are still having more marketing costs to go online onto different websites. Plus, standards for photos and floor plans and everything has accelerated as well. So now that we understand the percentages and what you're most commonly going to see as a real estate agent when you're either listing a property or selling a property, obviously those are percentages, so they are tied to price. As prices increase, so do the agent's paychecks. I'm going to actually refer to the Fraser Valley median sale price happening right now as $807,540. Now, if you sold a property at the median price in the Fraser Valley, you're likely going to end up with a commission of about $13,000 or just a little bit higher. However, if you're the buyer's agent, you're going to come in to sell that same property to your client. Your portion of that fee will likely be just over $11,000. Well, that sounds like a ton of money, right? And specifically because everybody thinks that real estate agents sell a ton of properties. Well, that's not necessarily true. When you actually divide the numbers almost each and every year, the average sales per agent in a real estate board will be somewhere between 4.2 and 4.7 almost every single year consistently. So in this argument, I'm going to say that there is an average of 4.5 sales per agent in each marketplace. However, that is sales, that is not ends. There, like I said, was two sides to every transaction, or what we call two ends in the business. There's a listing end and a buying end. So the average agent is likely going to end up with 9 ends by the end of the year. So now that we've established that the average agent's probably going to get 9 paychecks in a year, let's apply it to what might be a realistic situation and see what that looks like. We're going to say that the average agent sold 4 listings this year and helped 5 buyers. And if I do the math right, well, I think that the average agent makes, whatever you do after I say this number, don't stop watching now, watch to the end of the video, because I'm going to say this number now and you're going to think that that's crazy and then you're going to turn it off. But trust me, watch until the end. So the average agent in my marketplace must make $110,110.71 annually. That is gross. No, like seriously, that is their gross pay. But when you're watching those real estate shows that glamorize listings and, $1 million listings and selling and buying real estate and everybody driving around in Maserati, you're missing this part. Real estate agents are in fact independent contractors, and believe it or not, we actually have to pay our brokerages a fee in order to carry our license at that brokerage. Now, any real estate brokerage is likely going to be looking for about $10,000 or more per agent in fees coming off of their gross commission. Now, that might be paid in a monthly bill coming, whether the agent makes any money or not, or it could be charged as a percentage of their overall gross commissions. And if you're working for a more reputable, larger name company, those fees would likely even go up from there. So if they're looking for a minimum of $10,000, let's say our average agent's brokerage fees are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000 per year. But it doesn't stop there. I'm going to say licensing in my marketplace of Surrey, BC is at least $750 a year. Board fees, dues, and other things are going to be at least another $2,000. And education costs start at about $500. So now we're netting just a hair under $92,000. Well, let's not stop here. Let's get into some other costs. Remember those 4 listings that we sold to get up to that $110,000? Well, believe it or not, only 50% of listings annually actually end up selling. So in order to get to this number of 4 listings done, that agent probably actually had to take 6 listings. A listing is easily going to cost an agent, not including their time, just including their fees or expenses, marketing and all that stuff, at least $2,000 each. So now we're just a hair under $80,000 with a $12,000 listing fees and expenses due to marketing. Now I'm going to exclude some things here that you might see regularly because a lot of these advertising methods are for people that really like to spend money. For instance, I'm not going to include things like a bus bench. A bus bench is going to be as low as about $100 to advertise on a single bus bench. And you know those really big bus shelters that you see out there? Those things can be $600 each per month. But let's leave that to those heavy hitters that love to see their faces on bus benches, because I don't think the average agent is going to have that fee. But businesses like my own are built off of reputation and building relationships with your clients. And all of that stuff, again, comes out of the average agent's pocketbook. It does not come from the brokerage. Social media campaigns, client events, housewarming gifts, printing paper in the office, online subscriptions, office rentals, postage, and even you hitting the like button can cost me up to another $10,000 a year. So that leaves the average agent at about $69,860 in take-home money per year. But just for argument's sake, let's add up I don't know, gas. We're driving around a lot, car payments, car repairs, things like computers and phones. These all add up to at least another $10,000 a year. So I'm going to suggest in my marketplace, the average agent getting 9 paychecks a year is actually going to net $59,860.71 before they pay the CRA. Now, everything I could find online says that the average agent works between 40 and 60 hours a week. So I'm going to nail that down as being an average right in the middle at 50 hours a week. And because you're self-employed, I'm going to give you 4 weeks off a year, making your working, because again, there's no benefits here. There's no vacation pay. So if you're working 48 weeks of the year at 50 hours a week as an average agent selling 9 homes, your take home is probably going to be $59,000, as I said, which means the hourly rate that you earn is $24.94. So there you have it. It is an interesting career. It's fun and full of adventure, and the average agent is going to make about $25 an hour doing it. Thank you so much for watching. If you're thinking about getting into the real estate business, make sure you hit the like button for this amazing career. You could put yourself in a situation where there is no limit to how much you can make. But remember this one saying before you get into the business: where there is no ceiling, there is also no floor. Thanks so much for watching. Please check back in a couple of days for another video.